Good afternoon. It is August 17th, 2025, and it's a Sunday, and we are in the 2 p.m. hour. So, these are essentially the PD arrays on this down close candle that we are looking at. We're still bullish, as you may know already. We cannot fully trust that this is a top. We just can't go for that just yet. We need to see what they do here, and that's pretty much it. So this fair value gap for August 12th, this high here on August 11th, the daily macro for August 12th, and then this is the 20-day discount, essentially, give or take. This is the 20-day discount. They could go for here, but this is the maximum. If this is closed, then I would start thinking about if this is a shift, just not there yet. And then obviously anything down here would be a bottom for me. That would be it for me for any bullish runs. If it goes below that, then I'd be seriously concerned. We don't have added daily volume going into Monday, and that's one of the two options. Monday is that they just go. So that's the main thing we want to see for Monday, is that they go. We don't want to see them, gap lower here. Nothing added on the weekly for the actual contract, not for the continuous, not for the Owanda, not for the actual index, and not for SPY. So we're not fully bearish here yet, but we do want to see some sort of pullback to then keep going higher. How they did Friday's price action and then get us here was essentially this. This is the week's high. They take it at midnight, and then they shift at 4 o'clock. Here's 4 o'clock open here. They shift forward here, and then take this fair value gap on the hourly, give or take. Now on the 15, let me go directly to the 5-minute. There's a new addition to the indicator. I'm gonna see if I can fix it up on TradingView, but yeah, now I'm able to see the open on the 5-minute. Helps with tape reading. Here's 4:30, where they essentially push the button and shift. This is the fair value gap here, and then they chop around it here, and then here's 6:45. So this also could have just been your soup. It's not a bad soup. Take this above, stop loss above this fair value gap. That's 40 ticks, and 40 ticks is the high day, so that's perfect risk. And then for 8:45 macro, all they do is take that open. I think this is 8 o'clock open, but you also could have just took 7 o'clock open. They take it, and then 9 o'clock comes. The session starts here. Before 9 o'clock, they take it one last time to then flush lower to this low. It doesn't go all the way down to previous day's low, which makes me think that we're still bullish. And then afternoon was essentially taking this high here. That's the 10 o'clock high. Take it. That would have been a decent scalp for like 60 to 70 something ticks. What I did, do I have that on here? No, I do not have that on here. Yeah, what I did was I had a buy limit here to try and see if we could get that again. I think I cut here and then gave it one more sell here to then buy. Actually, no. That's not what happened. I tried to buy here and then got chopped around here. And then got out here. No, actually, no. Got out, no. I got in here, scaled out here, and then scaled out here again. I was essentially trying to force this high here for macro. And then I think right after settlement, I either manually close or get stopped out. I don't know which either one it was. So yeah, it's just this fair value gap here and all these other PD arrays that we want to look at. I do want to start talking about NAS a little bit because it is something that most of the chat is trading. So I'm not giving the most exact signals here for the chat, but I do want to start talking about NQ a little bit. This is essentially what's keeping me bullish on NQ, this block right here. It's bounced off of it. And now it's kind of just doing its thing here. So this could be a double confirmation of just a run on Monday that just takes us up. And that's the position that they hold. You know, the idea is that they bought this close to then go higher. They did all this rebalancing so that they could get a fair price to then go up. That's essentially the idea. How did they do it? They don't take previous day's high. So what they essentially do, where's London? Here's London cleared. That's the macro going into London. That's a decent soup right here. If you're expecting it, it's under 100 ticks. 100 ticks is give or take my risk for NQ. You could do 150. That's just too much. 150 and above is just too much for me, so I kind of just go for 100 as my risk. You're cleared here. This as your soup would be problematic. There's 100 ticks right there. Let's read the 745 macro. This could have also been your soup here. And obviously that's nothing, right? So if you felt like you were too early for this one here, you could have went for this one here, or you could have waited until 925 and taken that open, especially if you're looking short here. If you were looking long here, you would have just got ran, and that would have been it. And then that would be pretty much it. Here's his open interest. Bow, 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 lower. This wick, with this wick here, this could have been your soup. Clear yourself at 10 for 10:15 to 10:45, and that would have been something. With that would have been, there's your 300. I try to go for 100 to 300 with NQ. I just try to keep my time in, theoretically, I try to keep my time in NQ short and sweep. I don't want to be there, so I just don't want to be in a position here on that. I want to see the risk real quick because I always get mixed up with its risk. 300 ticks, that is $1,500. So my trades can go for $1,500 a day if I'm patient, if I'm surgical, and if I'm highly accurate on NQ. I just don't really know its structure. Here's 1045 here. This could have also been a soup for this low or maybe that low. That's 300 right here. That's a decent scalp. Yeah, I just don't really understand NASDAQ structure. I think when I try to make everything 1045 or 1145 or 1245, that doesn't work here on NQ. You have to be ready for each and every single macro. So for example, this is the 1015 macro, and then this is the 1045 macro. These two essentially continue each other. That's the trade that we just looked at. And then these two macros line up. That's pretty cool. But let me look at the 45 macro. See, this is why you want to stay out of NASDAQ as much as possible. Just get in, get what you need, and get out. Because right at 1145, the reverse. This is the open here, and this is your soup upwards. This is your soup upwards for NASDAQ, and you just barely get 300. You just barely get 300, so maybe that at minimum. You know, that's good, but that's a lot of. This right here is a lot. This right here is 15 minutes. This is 5, 10, 15, 20 minutes of drawdown for 300 ticks. And God forbid, you know, I'm going for here a complete reversal of that. You know, I'm screwed. But yeah, I'm gonna start talking about NQ a little bit more. I pseudo understand it, but I don't understand it enough to put live funds on it. But we'll keep reading it for each and every report moving forward. Crypto, we crashed a little bit. We hit the highs and came back down. This is the macro that I've been looking at for a while. I would love to see this tagged now. I would love to see this tagged and rejected, so that way we could keep going up. They could very much well just take this as well. This is we got a couple more weeks until the month of August. We got 2 more weeks until the month of August is over. So they could spend time getting this or getting this, either one of these two. I don't really see any serious fair value gaps to look at. Yeah, I don't really see any serious fair value gaps to look at. All right. Yeah. We want to see a little bit of a pullback here, or any one of these levels here. Let me give you the numbers. 6373 is the 20-day discount. Daily buy low is 6396. Discount of August 12th, actually, of August 12th. Let me change that. Discount of August 12th is 6431.5, and then the top of the range, then the midpoint of this fair value gap is 6446 2/4. What we don't want to see is a flush. What we would like to see is just a move up on Monday to then keep us going higher, making it untradeable for regular people. But we would like to see these levels hit to then go higher, but they could very well just flush. completely. But if they do flush, look for rejections here. All right. You have a blessed day.